Hi everyone. So yeah, it's Alex instead of Gideon. Gideon has a pretty busy month and he didn't get the chance to record anything. So as you guys know, I like having at least one video up for this channel every month. So I decided to record a little update. So yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know what I've been working on. I've been focusing since my last update. As you guys I know, I released Rift Breakers, which has been pretty well received. I'm very happy with it. People seem to really be loving it. Then we had the Choir of Flesh Kickstarter, which was pretty nice as well. I'm very excited to see more people playing it. There's a lot of um, interest in the game as well, and I will be sending backers the print on demand codes pretty soon. I think Drive RPG already sent me the new proof copies. So as soon as I get them and I see that everything is fine, you guys will get it. And then shortly after, my intention is for the game to go for sale for the general public in November. So yes, most people will have it in their hands very soon. And then the little expansion that we unlocked with all the stretch goals, the Apocrypha expansion, I'm working on it still. Backers will get it in a month or so, and then the rest of the people, I guess it will be early next year, most likely. But I'm very excited to release all that stuff because I think the game turned out very well. Very happy with it. There's a couple of new things I tried and they worked out pretty nicely. So I'm excited about that. So aside from that, my big focus these last 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, has been the second edition of my skirmish game, Warlord Ascendant, which it happened a little bit unexpectedly. It was mostly because I got very excited reading the Lone Bard's posts about it. He was playing through the first edition, and it got me very excited reading again about the game. I know there's a lot of people who really love it. There's quite a few videos for it on YouTube, and I think it's a cool game. It just had a few flaws, which I wasn't really addressing because I needed a proper expansion for it, and I just never found the time to sit and fix it. So I did precisely that, planning on working on an expansion, and then I realized that I wanted to change too many things and address the issues in a different way. So I ended up choosing to release work on a second edition using my newly announced Momentum engine. So, well, as you guys know, or if you don't, this is my new game engine that I'll be using moving forwards, except for games which are already written, like the second edition of Sacrifice or the upcoming expansion for Across a Thousand Worlds. Those are already written with their own systems. But any new games I'm going to be working on will use my Momentum engine, which is a D100 based game system, skill based, of course, and it has a couple of interesting twists and fresh ideas. So the second edition of Warlord Ascendant will be using this Momentum engine. So instead of being a D20 like the first edition, it's now a D100 system, which means it's no longer compatible with Sacrifice. But well, I think it's worth it. So what's Warlord Ascendant, I hear you ask? So for those that don't know, the first edition was released like 2 3 years ago, and it was kind of my skirmish wargame spin-off of Sacrifice. It's set in the same world, so it's very heavily inspired by Berserk, the manga. It's dark fantasy, and this second edition, of course, is the same setting, but the rules have changed. I added a lot of stuff. So if the first edition it's 100 pages, the second edition is over 200 pages, and it's not more complicated. It's not 100 pages extra of rules. This is 100 pages of content. It's just more and more content. I added new warbands, among them something I really wanted to do since the beginning, which is a undead warband. You have a necromancer with his horde of the walking dead, which is pretty fun. Uh, Added new enemies, a lot of new gear, a cool new thing for the gear, which is the trait system, which ties with the momentum engine. So when you roll a D100 to make a check, an attack or defense, you also roll a D12, and if the result on the D12 is 9 or higher, you trigger the trait. So each piece of gear in the game, and there are hundreds, so there's a lot to choose from, has a unique trait. So when you trigger a trait, you choose if you are attacking, you will trigger your weapons trait. If you're defending, you will trigger your armor or shield trait. But if you have a trinket, which characters can have each character in your warband can have a trinket, you can trigger the trinket trait die triggers. It's triggered via the attack or defense. So it's up to you to choose whether you're going to use your weapon or your armor or your trinket. So it adds that added layer of decision making, which I think is important, but also the cool fact of you rolling another die and having the potential of something cool happening. I think that's always exciting. There's no downside to it, so if the trait die doesn't trigger, it doesn't matter. But if it does, well, something cool happens. So I think that's always fun to have. And aside from that, well, the big focus of the game is to expand across no man's land, which is this uh, territory that belongs to nobody basically right now, because it's being um, disputed by two neighboring countries. So your warband is just a bunch of opportunists, or maybe you're working for one of the two sides or for a different country, and you're just there slowly taking over territory. So the game works based on a hex scroll. You during the management phase, you send your guys to explore and find new opportunities all around your territory. This works a little bit like the video game Heroes of Might and Magic, for those of you who are familiar with it. And at the center of your territory sits the stronghold, which is one of the new elements I added for this second edition, and I'm very very happy with it, very excited. So the stronghold, of course, you have to upgrade it and build new stuff for it. Um, there's a whole series of different buildings you can add to it. Among them, something which is very crucial for the progression of your warband, which is the crafting corner, which allows you to craft unique gear that is not for sale anywhere. All the cool weapons and cool trinkets and armors, everything, all those unique items, they can only be obtained via the crafting stations. So this is not a complicated system. You just gather crafting components. Like there's literally just one, and spend them on crafting stuff. So you are not going to be having to grind. I need an eye of a turtle and the skin of a leopard, whatever. It's just one ingredient, and you craft whatever you want. But it gives this another layer of options and decision making, and deciding, okay, which piece of gear am I going to craft? Which character is going to get it? Can it synergize with the gear of this other character? Because of course I added synergies between different traits and pieces of gear. So I think it adds a lot of experimentation to the game, and it's pretty fun. And another new thing I added to the game is also town management. So now as you expand, you will find towns, which happened in the first edition, but towns were kind of just passive. They were the places where you will go to recruit new members or trade and all that. Now towns, aside from that kind of stuff, you can take over them, and they will give you supplies, which is the game's currency. And but there will also be events tied to them. If you neglect them, there can be uprising, peasant uprisings attacking you. So there's a lot of things to take care of there. All very streamlined and quite simple, but it adds a lot of interesting gameplay opportunities. And yeah, and another thing I really wanted to add to the game was the lone wolf mode, because I thought, since the game is inspired by Berserk, well, it would be cool to play like Guts, like just this big dangerous dude who goes against whole squads of enemies by himself. So you can do that instead of controlling a whole warband. You can just make a character. There's rules for making one character. It's of course much more powerful than a regular character, and it has its own rules. Instead of dealing with the stronghold, you'll have your network of contacts, and yeah, it changes the gameplay a little bit. It kind of simplifies it. So for people who want experience closer to an RPG, I think the Lone Wolf is a cool option, and it's also very cool just going you alone against 10 opponents and being able to kill them all. It's fun. And the last thing I added to the game is an active adversary, because the default mode, all these are optional rules, of course. The default mode is you just expand, and sometimes you encounter enemies while you are expanding. Sometimes they will attack your locations, but it's all kind of as a reaction to your actions. But now with this active adversary, there is an enemy warband which is doing the exact same thing you are. So they have their turn after yours, and they can expand, conquer territory, and eventually your borders will come into contact, and you'll have big fights all the time against them. So I think it's a cool addition to the game. So yes, like I said, this is done. I just finished it like an hour ago. My Patreon members are getting the beta tomorrow, which is a finished game. It's just missing the art, which is done again by Simone Tameta, which did all the art for the first edition, and he's back for the second edition. I'm very excited about it, and I'm going to need a lot of playtesting. Unfortunately, I have a bunch of people helping me. I'm going to be playtesting it like nuts every single day for the next coming weeks. And my hope is to have it ready for release on December already, because like I said, it's done. So yes, I'm pretty excited about this. I think you guys are really going to love this. It offers a lot of unique stuff, and it turned out pretty well. Very, very excited to share it with you. And yes, this has been my focus lately. And now, aside from all this playtesting I'm going to be doing, of course, I never stop writing. So I'm going to be working next on wrapping up Apocrypha, like I said, the expansion for Choir of Flesh, and the revision. I'm doing the rules revision for Carnethalas, which will be a free update. It's not the second edition, don't worry. Everybody will get a free PDF update. I'm also going to send at cost codes for those of you who want a physical copy and who have purchased one already and want a upgraded version. I will send you the at cost. So I don't make any money from this. I'll just send it for those of you who want. And it's going to be just streamlining a few things, making it easier to understand, and no big changes. I hope. I mean, they are going to be big in the sense that it's going to be easier to understand, but the rules are not changing. Everything is compatible with what exists already, with all the existing material. This is not a new addition, like I said. This is just me trying to make things easier to understand, because I think I need to solidify what I have and to consolidate it before I move forward with new content. So yes, I think this is an important step for the game. I'm still amazed by all the support. People keep buying copies every single day of the game, so it's definitely the thing that is allowing me to keep working on Blackoath 24/7. So I'm very, very grateful to all of you who have purchased a copy. So yeah, that's it. A short update to let you know what I'm working on, what I'll be working on in the coming weeks. And I think that's it for today. So thank you for watching, and see you soon.